And for all the disappointing reviews this movie has been getting, some people are very mixed by this film, some people like this film, some people didn't like this film, and even though I understand those comparisons, what are my thoughts of The Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim? What is up, guys and Lord of the Rings fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OTD Movie Reviews. My name is On the Brinker, and today I'm going to review the latest animated film that's also part of this amazing franchise, and that film is The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. This movie is produced by Peter Jackson, but it's directed by Kenji Kamiyama. Hopefully I said his name right. This is the latest Lord of the Rings film that's also an anime film, and this movie stars Gaia Wise, Brian Cox, and Luke Pasqualino. A sudden attack by Wolf, a clever and treacherous lord of the Ronin, seeking vengeance for the death of his father, forces Helm Hammerhand, the king of Rohan, and his people to make a daring last stand in the ancient stronghold of the Hornbog. So of course, I was anticipating for this film because I love Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, Peter Jackson's amazing trilogy, is some of my favorite movies of all time. I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I thought they're directed very freaking well, and they're some of the most iconic movies of all freaking time, and Peter Jackson absolutely directed those movies very well. The Hobbit trilogy, even though I enjoyed the first two, they're definitely not as great as the original trilogy. And yes, I have not seen Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, so I'm not going to judge that comparison. This is coming from the guy that enjoys the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So with all those things aside, I was interested in this movie, especially that they're going to do an anime Lord of the Rings film, which, if you don't know me, I'm not huge on anime. Not saying there's anything wrong with anime. Anime is awesome. I like some of the anime stuff, especially some Studio Ghibli ones, and I have seen a couple of shows, you know, like My Hero Academia and all that stuff. But I was interested in taking Lord of the Rings into an anime form. That got me really intrigued. The trailers of the film caught my interest. So I went to see this film in IMAX because, of course, for a big scope anime like this, you have to see a movie like this in IMAX. So I got a chance to see this movie in IMAX. And for all the disappointing reviews this movie has been getting, some people are very mixed by this film, some people like this film, some people didn't like this film. And even though I understand those comparisons, what are my thoughts of The Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim? I enjoyed this film. I don't think this film is as bad as people were making it out to be. Is this the best Lord of the Rings film? Absolutely not. But it's really hard to top the original trilogy because the original trilogy is absolutely flawless. This is the most unique, I would say, Lord of the Rings film in this entire franchise. And yes, this film does tie in with the Peter Jackson series. And I gotta start off saying the animation in this movie is absolutely breathtaking. Something about the anime in this animation absolutely works for a Lord of the Rings film. It looks absolutely beautiful, very stunning, especially on the big screen. Even the landscapes, like, it looks very real. It's like they put anime characters into a real life background. I love the attention to detail within the animation of the film. You even recognize some landscapes that you see in the Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings film, showing that this film does tie in with the original trilogy because this movie took place basically almost 200 years before the Fellowship of the Ring. Gaia Wise as Hera, who is the main lead of this film, I thought her character is completely badass in this film because you understand her motivation. She is forced to basically get married, but she wants to be a warrior, and you understand her motives in the film. And when she throws down, man, this character is badass in this film. You definitely follow her along. You definitely want her to win this war. And speaking of war, let's talk about the villain of this film, Wolf. Man, this is a really awesome villain because all he wants is to win the war no matter how much people lose. He wants to be the winner of the entire freaking war, and he has an interesting chemistry with Hera in the film that I find very interesting in this film. But I thought Wolf is a really badass villain, and Luke Pasqualino does a really good job voice overing this villain. Also, Brian Cox in this movie as King Hammerhand. Man, this guy, damn, what a beast in this film. This is one of the most badass kings that I have seen in a film. He is definitely overprotective within his group of people. He wants to protect his people no matter what consequences it causes. And I thought Brian Cox voiced over this character really freaking well, he is definitely one of the most badass kings that I have ever seen. And he also has a really good chemistry with his daughter Hera in the film. Now, the story of this film is nothing too much, I would say, mind-blowing or anything. It's a very simple Lord of the Rings type story. You know, it's not one of those films that's like gonna offer anything new. It feels like this movie is one of those, you know, when you like find a Middle-earth storybook or something and it's like this movie's in like some sort of like a different story chapter or something like that. That's what this film kind of felt like. It felt like a Middle-earth story, which I was completely fine with it. I think some people watching this film are gonna find this problem going, do this film need to exist? Which I completely understand now. This movie is not really the most important movie. It just felt like a Middle-earth story. I guess how Helm's Deep is created, that's probably the most important thing about this film. But other than that, it just felt like a Middle-earth story, which I was completely okay with. Because it's easy for me to enjoy this rivalry slash war story as long as the characters are interesting, which they are. So I really do care about the characters. I really do care about this war that is happening. From start to finish, throughout the most part, I was very invested within the story, in my personal opinion. And I thought the anime just adds a really unique flair to this movie. It's something that we've never seen before. But I can understand there's going to be some amount of people going, okay, this movie could have been much better than it needs to be. And there are flaws with this movie. I'm not saying this movie is a perfect movie, but for like a simple Middle-earth story, I really enjoy it. And going back into Middle-earth on the big screen, it's a real treat to see. But like I said, one of my flaws of the film is that the story isn't really much of a necessary story to tell. Even though I enjoyed the story, it doesn't really have much of an importance in my personal opinion unless I missed something. It just felt like I said, a Middle-earth story. But also one of my other issues with The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, is that there is one bit towards the middle where it slows the film down just a little bit. Even though this is the shortest Lord of the Rings film, this film definitely feels slow at a couple of moments. There is like one bit of this film that I feel like they could have just cut out. I feel like there was this one bit in the film, it's just like, it's there for an Easter egg to tie in with the Peter Jackson movie, and then it just goes back to the story and I was completely okay with it. If they cut out that scene, I feel like the movie would have been paced a little bit more better. But guys, despite from the disappointing reviews from this movie, overall, I enjoyed The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. I thought the animation looks absolutely stunning. I thought the story is simple enough for me to enjoy because the characters in the movie are great. Hera is a really badass character. Wolf is an awesome villain. King Hammerhead is an awesome character. The action scenes are great. For a simple Middle-earth story, I think The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim did that, in my opinion, very freaking well. Honestly, I'd probably rather watch this movie than The Battle of the Five Armies, which felt the most unnecessary in this series. Honestly, The War of the Rohirrim at least has a story that I absolutely follow. And I thought with an anime twist to it, I thought in my opinion it absolutely works from this movie. Not a perfect movie, the film definitely slows down towards the middle, but for a simple Lord of the Rings film, I enjoyed this movie for what it was. I'll definitely go see this movie again. In my opinion, guys, this is one of those reviews that I'm going to disagree with the critics absolutely completely. If you're a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I'd say check this film out. This film will not harm you. I enjoyed myself with The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, and I gotta say, for Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, in my opinion, definitely go see this film on the big screen. But that is just my opinion, guys. If you disagree with my opinion strongly, let me know in the comments below what you think of this film. If you like the film, hate the film, or you thought it's okay, just let me know in the comments below. And what is your favorite Lord of the Rings in the Middle-earth trilogy, or even franchise in general? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.